Have you ever been working out, maybe lifting weight, and normally you feel like you have the strength, the power to get that last rep done? Normally. But in this particular case, you don't. It's like, man, I just don't have it. I don't have the juice. I can't get it. I can't get it all the way back onto the rack. What do? You already know ahead of time you don't have the power. How do you get it back on that rack? The spotter. This is the Warrior Up Podcast, episode 70. And we'll talk about how to walk in power. So we know that there's times that, we perform better than others. That's just the way it is. There's this ebb and flow of life that, sometimes you're on top of it, sometimes you're underneath it. There's no real consistency. I guess the consistency would be that it's inconsistent. So what's the deal? How do we move forward? How do we see progress in all the areas of our life, knowing that we can't always tap into the same power all the time, when it comes to performance? And this is something that, believe it or not, I've been kind of trying to work through and unpack by studying Galatians chapter 5, where it says to walk in the Spirit and you will not fulfill the lusts of the flesh. Because there's this kind of war that goes on inside of us, where at times we're over here and then other times we're over here, because you have two sides pulling on you, trying to get you to go one way or another. And how does this work to weightlifting? Well, weightlifting is you're trying to affect a result. You're trying to get a particular result in your mind. You're saying, okay, I need to do X. If I do X, then I am successful. If I don't do X, then I'm not successful. And that, to me, is the law. If I follow this, I'm successful. If I don't, I'm not successful. And that is the way of the flesh. Well, with the Spirit directs you. Jesus says in John 3, it directs those that are born of the Spirit. Sometimes they go left, sometimes they go right, sometimes they don't move at all. The wind goes where it wishes. You don't know where it comes from or where it's going. So are they that are led by the Spirit. So here's the key. In that 5th chapter of Galatians, towards the end, it says that this war that exists between the two sides are causing them to be at enmity with one another, spirit versus the flesh. They're always fighting back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, pulling on us. And that's because we're born of the Spirit. Those that aren't don't have that pull. They follow the flesh. They don't have a choice. There is no other opposing side pulling them. They're going to always operate that way. But those that are born of the Spirit, those that are sons of God, those that are warriors for God's glory, realize that there is this internal battle within them. And our mind is the key. We have to choose to follow after the Spirit and not gratify the desires of the flesh. Because here's the key. In that verse it says, so that you do not do what you wish. They're pulling against each other, so you're not going to do what you wish. Now, normally we come from the perspective of the flesh, saying, I'm going to try to do the things of the Spirit, but I'm not doing the things that I wish. I want to do the things of the Spirit, but I'm not able to do them. That's the perspective that we normally come with when we're looking at that verse. But let's not do that. Let's go from the spiritual perspective of that verse. I think it's an option there. I think that's what Paul's saying there, is that we can go from the spiritual perspective and say, I'm following after the Spirit, and there's this war between the flesh and the Spirit, so I don't do what I wish, meaning gratify the desires of the flesh. I don't do that because I'm walking in the Spirit. So I don't get to do what I wish because I'm walking after the Spirit. And let the Spirit prompt me and lead me. Now, how can we use this practically? So you have all these areas of your life. I have all these areas of my life. And each one of those we want to take charge and see success in. We have this little box that needs to be checked, a law unto itself, right? We're like, hey, if I do this, I'm good. If I don't do that, I'm bad, whatever the case may be. But what we do is we give it over to the Lord. This is your area, Lord. You tell me where you want me to go. You tell me what you want me to do. You tell me what success looks like and what success doesn't look like. It's all on you. I give it over to you. And it seems very passive, that attitude, that prayerfulness, like we don't do anything. We do something. We follow him. But guess what we have to do? We have to lean on and rely on him in all things at all times. We have to pray without ceasing. We have to be still and know that he's God in that situation. That is how we have power, because he is the source of power and his gospel is the source of power. What is the gospel? The gospel is that you are inefficient. You are unsuccessful. You are unable to do things, but he's able to do all things. With man, it is impossible. With God, all things are possible. That is the gospel. And it's fleshed out through what Jesus did in his life, death, and resurrection and ascension, sitting at the right hand of the Father. That is the power of it all. And so it's more than just head knowledge, it's living it out through prayer and really listening to the Spirit when the Spirit leads us left or right. And the only way we can do that is through the Word, because the Spirit is the sword of the Spirit, the Word of God, the Rhema, the truth of God. Hebrews 4, sword of the Spirit, and Ephesians 6, sword of the Spirit. It's vital that we do that. I know that I constantly say that we need to be in the Word, and we like the idea of it, but we need to get into the Word and let the Word get into us. That is the secret to power. That's the secret to being a warrior for God's glory. By being strong in the Lord, the power of his might, and putting on the whole armor of God, that you may stand firm in the evil day. And the evil day is every day. God be with you. You are a warrior. Be strong. And know that if you like the content, share, like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'll continue to put out the information. God be with you. Have a great one. Peace.